Hello, everyone. I'm Paul at the Garland County Library, and I'm here today with Larry Wilson, who is the director of Lifelong Learning Institute of Hot Springs Village. He's a retired history teacher, and he's a regular guest speaker for the Garland County Historical Society. So Mr. Wilson is here today to talk about many of the Arkansas presenters who are going to be attending the upcoming Arkansas Heritage Festival, which is a two-day festival on August 27th and 28th that will feature all things Arkansas, including arts and crafts demonstrations, Arkansas history talks, musical entertainment from Arkansas musicians, including a Johnny Cash tribute concert, food vendors with Arkansas taste, tribute to Arkansas veterans, and so much more. So like I said, welcome Mr. Wilson. He's going to talk to us about the upcoming presenters and hopefully spark your interest in the Arkansas Heritage Festival. So thanks for joining us, Mr. Wilson.
Thanks, Paul. We're really excited about this event as we get closer to it. And I realize it's still a couple of months off, but when you've been working on it for almost 10 months, it seems pretty close. This event will be held in Hot Springs Village, and Wednesday at the Property Owners Association Board of Directors meeting, the Board of Directors proclaimed August Arkansas Heritage Month. We were real pleased with that recognition, and we will start, doing things to showcase Arkansas heritage. The event actually starts on August the 1st with an art exhibit in the lobby of the Woodlands Auditorium by Hot Springs' own Longwa. A lot of his work will be hanging out there in the lobby, and we're hoping that people sometime during August will be able to stop in and see this exhibit. If you've not seen his work before, I know he's had some work out at Mid-America Science Museum, and he's had work at the Convention Center. So, but if you've not seen his work, especially if you live out in the village, you need to check out his art. Also, because Hot Springs Village is a private gated community, we have gates and we have security. And if you're not a property owner and don't have a reason to be in the village, you're not going to be allowed to come in. So we had to overcome that by setting up a registration system. If you're not a property owner of Hot Springs Village and want to attend the Arkansas Heritage Festival, you can go to the Heritage Festival website, which is arkansasheritage.hsvlli.org. And there's a place there where it says register. And you're redirected to a website. It's actually ThunderTix. And the cost is free. There's no cost to attend the festival, but you do have to have a ticket. And when you register, you fill out all the information and register, you'll receive a return email, which is your ticket to get in the village. All you got to do is show that at the gate, and you'll be allowed to come in and tour the village if you want to and come out to the festival. So we're really excited about having that registration online because people have been asking, hey, how can I come? How can I get in the village? That's how you would do it. Also, on July the 5th, tickets go on sale for the tribute concert. And we're actually going to have a tribute concert to not only Johnny Cash, but to Glenn Campbell and Conway Twitty. The title is going to be Gil Grand, One Night with Country Legends. And Gil is a very talented tribute artist. He has been in the village before. He did a Conway Twitty show a couple of years ago, and it was well received. And Gil has agreed to come in and do the three famous Arkansas performers, singers, songwriters. Now, what I want to do is kind of give you an overview of who all we have coming to speak. Now, we still have some speakers that we have not confirmed enough for me to say anything about it yet, so I'm not going to mention anybody that we are not confirmed on. But it will start Friday morning, and all these talks are in the Woodlands Auditorium, which is our big auditorium out there. It's a 650-seat auditorium, so we've got plenty of room for people who want to come listen. The first talk will be on Friday morning and at 10 o'clock, and Holly Hope who is the Special Projects Historian for Arkansas Historic Preservation, will be talking about flora, fauna, and faces, reading cemetery symbolism. She's worked at the agency for 27 years and writes articles, National and Arkansas Register nominations. She lectures on various topics of Arkansas history. She organizes and facilitates hands-on cemetery preservation workshops in cemeteries across the state. And what she will do is explain some of the symbolism you see in the various cemeteries. Arkansas has a lot of old cemeteries, and you'd be surprised at the amount of symbols that are found. And she's done a lot of research on this, and it's a very interesting topic. I've heard her do this presentation 2 or 3 times. And in fact, I've been out to some of the cemeteries and seen, the examples of what she's talking about. Then at 11 o'clock, Janicearney is going to be speaking on My Arkansas Journey, featuring Daisy Bates, Miller Williams, Bill Clinton, and Maya Angelou. She is a publisher with the Arkansas State Press. She served as the presidential diarist for Bill Clinton, U.S. President Bill Clinton, the first such appointment in presidential history. She later founded the Writing Our World publishing company and authored books including Conversations, William Jefferson Clinton, From Hope to Harlem, Cotton Field of Dreams, Daisy Between a Rock and a Hard Place, Once Upon a Time There Was a Girl, A Murder at Mobile Bay, and Something to Write Home About, Memories from a Presidential Diarist. The program described her journey from a family of sharecroppers to the White House. And I think you will find this very, very interesting because she has worked with a lot of important and famous people. At 12 o'clock, we're going to have representatives from the Central Arkansas Library System, Brian Robertson, Anna and Guy Lancaster will be there. If you're familiar, if you've ever been to the Encyclopedia of Arkansas, which is an old history teacher, I used to, get most of my information from the Encyclopedia of Arkansas. And Guy is the editor of that and puts together all the information found there. And they will talk about the different aspects of what's available, what you can do. They'll let you know about a lot of little known resources for researching Arkansas history at the Central Arkansas Library System, as well as web-based Encyclopedia of Arkansas. So this will be an interesting talk, especially if you're interested in Arkansas history and you want to find out a little bit more about the different aspects of Arkansas history, the fine details of a lot of these things. The Encyclopedia of Arkansas is the place to go. At 1 o'clock, Hot Springs' own Terry Diggs will do a program on folklore and songs of the Ouachita Mountains. Terry is an attorney who developed an interest in folk music and folk stories at an early age. He's raised in a family of singers and storytellers in Bonnerdale in the foothills of the Ouachita Mountains. He's collected and performed most of his adult life. Although he has practiced law in Hot Springs for almost 40 years, he still lives at the old home place in Bonnerdale. Terry has been collecting songs, stories, and folklore of the Ouachita Mountain region all his life. So he will be sharing some of these with us, including the humorous story, the goat that blowed up, and what he calls a sad song, I Wish I Was Single Again. 2 o'clock, we'll have one of Arkansas's favorites, Ouachita Baptist one and only Rex Nelson. His talk, I asked him, what do you want to talk about? He said, I got this talk that I'd like to do called The State of Disaster. And of course, he's a senior editor at the Arkansas Democrat-Gazette. He is a very high-profile writer and speaker in the state. He writes 3 columns a week plus essays for the cover of the Democrat-Gazette's Sunday Perspective section. Is the author of 3 books and presents the popular blog known as Rex Nelson's Southern Fried. This program will explore the facts that Arkansas history has been largely defined by a series of disasters, both natural and man-made. From the New Madrid earthquake of 1811-1812 to the decision Governor Orville Faubus made to block 9 black students from entering Little Rock Central High School in 1957. Arkansans have had to overcome everything from floods and droughts to corruption and poor decisions by their elected leaders. And if you've never heard Rex Nelson speak, you need to hear Rex Nelson speak. If you follow Ouachita Baptist football, he is the voice of the Ouachita Baptist, and some of his football calls have been played all over the country. The man is just a treat. He will also be, we will be naming him our first annual recipient of the Arkansas Heritage Festival Person of the Year. At 3 o'clock on Friday, we're going to have a screening of the movie Dreamland. This was an award-winning documentary that Arkansas Public Broadcasting made on Little Rock's West 9th Street, which was once a vibrant African-American business and entertainment district. The historic Taborian Hall housed a variety of black businesses throughout the 20s and 30s. Its Dreamland Ballroom was a stop on the Chitlin Circuit, showcasing nationally known African-American musicians. The West 9th Street community is showcased through people in the face of federal urban renewal programs, school desegregation, and the Housing Act of 1949. It just shows what happens. I mean, when you build an interstate highway right through the middle of a neighborhood, it has a devastating effect, and that's a lot about what Dreamland is. On Saturday morning, 9 o'clock, again, we were going to have a real treat for you. David Hill, whose book, The Vapors of Southern Family, The New York Mob, and the Rise and Fall of Hot Springs, American Forgotten Capital of Vice. David is from Hot Springs. His family was involved in the Vapors, and he writes this book from a perspective of what he learned, from listening to family members talk about, what it was like. His family, he describes them as a family of carnies, gamblers, hellraisers, and storytellers. His work's been featured on a weekly radio program, The American Life, and major publications such as Esquire, New York Times Magazine, The New Yorker. The Vapors was chosen by a New York Times notable book for 2020, one of the Publishers Weekly summaries of 2020, GQ's favorite books of 2020, Book Hub's 12 of the best nonfiction books coming out this summer, and one of Thrillist's 21 books we can't wait to read. So David is going to be coming down. He will be there available to sign books for people, and he will discuss the gangsters and gamblers who once flocked to Hot Springs. It was a place where hustlers and high rollers could make their fortunes and hide from the law, as well as being the site of the Vapors, a lavish nightclub casino whose spectacular rise and fall brought them together before blowing them apart. And of course, if you've followed the newspapers recently, the Vapors is now reinventing itself as a music venue, and they have started offering lots of shows there. And I think David is coming back now in September to do something there. But I was able to get him to come on now for the Heritage Festival because I thought it was important that he be a part of it. Let's see. Don't get ahead of myself here. 11 o'clock, Charlie Moore and Ken Tillery are going to talk about mountain music and its roots. Charlie, who calls himself an explorer and preservation promoter of mountain music, has attended old-time music camps in Virginia, North Carolina, Florida, West Virginia, Alabama, Tennessee, Missouri, and of course, Arkansas. In learning more about mountain music tradition, he has studied with some of the most accomplished musicians there are. Charlie and Ken will present an interactive program mixed with history, heritage, and music, plus plenty of audience participation. Starting with the earliest American settlers through the 1930s, it will show how mountain music developed from varying styles and primitive instruments to music we enjoy today, whether country, blues, jazz, Cajun, ragtime, gospel, cowboy, bluegrass, folk, American pop, rock and roll, and other modern genre. I did talk to Charlie a few days ago, and he is bringing a group of about 15 dancers, and there will be some traditional folk dancing going on. Charlie will also, not only will he have this speaking time at Woodlands, he will be performing at Grove Park on Friday. Grove Park is our outdoor stage venue, and Charlie's going to be there with Ken Tillery and some other groups performing, just old time country music. At 12 o'clock, Lisa Carey is going to talk about Arkansas's heritage and quartz. Lisa Coleman Carey, whose family owns Ron Coleman Mining, was born and raised in Jessieville, Arkansas. She's the owner of a unique shop called All Things Arkansas, which is located in downtown Hot Springs, featuring products from Arkansas made in Arkansas or relating to Arkansas. It attracts tourists and residents from all over who want to learn more about it. Lisa will focus her program on quartz crystal, which is the state mineral of Arkansas. She will describe the work of the old Coleman mine in the Ouachita Mountains, where some of the best quartz around the world is found, being sold from $1 to several million. Her program includes facts that visitors are permitted to mine for their own quartz there in a specially designated area. I remember several years ago, I was able to attend with the Hot Springs Sister City program, go with a group of teachers to Hanamaki. And, one of the traditions was that we take something from the area as a gift. And we talked about it. We thought, it would really be neat to take some quartz. And the Japanese teachers were just amazed at the quartz that we took over there that they were able to look at. They hadn't seen anything quite like it. At 1 o'clock, one of the Garland County Library's favorites will be here, Liz Robbins. She's going to talk about Hot Springs, a small town's giant contribution to Arkansas's tourism heritage. She serves as the executive director of the Garland County Historical Society and is editor of the yearly journal, The Record. She's a past board member of the Arkansas State Archives, and before she took the helm at the Historical Society, the native of Hot Springs taught English for 17 years, with the last being at Hot Springs Lakeside. Program explores how and why small town in Arkansas, Hot Springs, has been a major tourist destination from the stagecoach era to the jet age. And I think it's, those of you that, live here in the area, live in Hot Springs Village, the importance of tourism. And I think having Liz to talk about what is the attraction? Why do we bring so many people in? Why, when you walk the streets of Hot Springs, do you see people from all over the world? And of course, it's if you look at the latest tourism numbers, our numbers are jumping immensely. Of course, with all the expansion of facilities in town, a lot of people are finding more and more about Hot Springs. And one of the reasons we thought Hot Springs Village area would be a great place to hold an Arkansas Heritage Festival is that so much of Arkansas's heritage is showcased right here in Garland County. 2 p.m., Denise Parkinson is going to talk about being born and raised and educated in Arkansas. She's the daughter of longtime radio personality Sonny Martin. Her career in journalism includes writing for the Democrat, the Arkansas Democrat Gazette, the Arkansas Times, the Encyclopedia of Arkansas History and Culture, and she will discuss her book, Daughter of the White River, Depression-era teachery and Vengeance in the Arkansas Delta, which tells the story of a once thriving houseboat community along Arkansas's White River. The book spotlights the sensational 1931 murder that set beloved local girl Helen Spence on a tragic path. So these are the speakers that we have that I can definitely talk about. And as you can see, it's quite a diverse group of presenters. We're going to have a lot of exhibits. We've got vendors who are going to be there. I've received Arkansas Department of Agriculture will be there. The Little Rock 9 Museum will be there. We'll have some of the school districts in the area will be present. We'll have the Coleman Mines. We'll have a booth there. We'll also have other vendors with things to sell, things to show you, talk about. But Paul, I realize that this is kind of a short show, and I have gone through my list of things. I don't know whether we have anybody out there that is sending any questions or not, but
well, you forgot the most important thing of all. The Garland County Library is going to have a booth there as well.
That's right. The Garland County Library is going to definitely have a booth there. And we appreciate them being interested enough in what we're doing to want to have a booth. So we've got some really interesting people lined up. I wish I could tell you a little bit more about what tentatively is in the works, but I don't want to say anything until I have it definitely confirmed. I will say this. I'm trying to find out if we cannot have a C-130 flyover of the event. Those of us that live in the village, especially on the east side of the village, know that every morning and in the afternoon, the C-130s fly out of Little Rock. The Air National Guard C-130s fly out of Little Rock, and the flight pattern that they fly is right over the village. It's right over Lake Balboa. And a friend of mine in the village who was a retired colonel was kind of one of the ones that set this whole thing up several years ago. And I asked him about it, and he said, well, we won't have to alter the flight path more than about a quarter of a mile. So we haven't confirmed it yet. I don't know how much red tape we've got to go through, but you might look up in the sky about 10 o'clock Friday morning and see a bunch of C-130s flying about 250 feet above. But everybody else has a flyover. I said, why can't we have a flyover? That seems to be the thing in that events. But we're excited. I have been working very hard to get a quality program put together. I've got a lot of good team players: Amy Thomason, Nancy Hendricks, Melanie Peterson, Terry Wiley. The POA staff have worked tirelessly to help put together this program. We're always looking for sponsors. We have some vendor spots open. If anybody is interested in more information about being a sponsor or being a vendor, they can contact me directly. My email is hsvlarry@gmail.com, and my phone number is 501-915-2991. If you are interested in participating, if you are interested in getting more information about this, please feel free to contact me. We are working with the Arkansas Department of Education to be able to grant teachers professional development credit for attending the different speaker sessions. That has not been finalized, so don't run out and say, what do I do? Because I'm still, in fact, I'm expecting a phone call today from Department of Education for us to work out the logistics of how this will happen. But I think this will be big for Arkansas teachers. As an old Arkansas history teacher, I was involved with the Arkansas Council for the Social Studies, which is the big social studies organization for the state. And I still actually have some friends there. And I reached out to one of my friends up in Northwest Arkansas and was telling him about it. And he's going to, I think, he's going to put the word out to the social studies teachers in the state that, if they can figure out a way to come, there will be a fun. If you can't come both days, it'll be a fun day to come and spend just seeing what all's out there. It's going to be amazing. I don't think we've seen anything quite like this. And I know we haven't seen it in the village, and it's the kind of thing I think that it's a good way to promote Arkansas. So,
well, very impressive. I can tell there's a lot of effort that's been put into it, and it's especially so considering, it's the first annual one that you're doing.
Well, the first annual is always a learning process.
Exactly.
And we know that it's not going to be perfect, but you've got to, when you do the first one, you've got to just kind of see what, try it and see what happens. And we'll learn, we'll make mistakes. We'll figure out we should have done this, or we could have done this a little bit better, and can improve on improve on our craft. Next year, I can say, next year, we're going to move it a little bit later than August. We had to have it in August. We had to have it the dates we're having it because this is being partially funded by a grant from the Arkansas Department of Heritage. And one of the grant stipulations was that the money be spent by September the 1st. So we were kind of caught in a situation where, realize August is going to be hot, but we couldn't push it any farther. I think next year we're probably looking at a little more into the third week in September, that type of thing. And it will be more of a true fall festival, but a fall heritage festival. It'll still be the Arkansas Heritage Festival, but it'll be like a fall festival. And of course, as you know, a lot of places get into fall festivals starting in September and October, and it seems to be that's just kind of festival time and county fair time and things like that in the fall. So we're going to just jump in the mix and do it a little bit later. But this year we have to do it August 27th and 28th. But anyway, like I said, if people have questions, they've got my contact information, and I'll get all of those down on this site. And so if you've got questions, feel free to call me. And I'll be glad to help you answer anything that I can answer. I don't have all the answers, but I have a lot of them. So anyway, we're going to just stay 30 minutes is enough today.
I think so. I want to thank everyone for watching. We got a comment from Claudia who says, "This is going to be awesome. I've already sent for my tickets." So shout out to Claudia.
Good. Appreciate it. And like I said, the tickets for I've had 2 or 3 people say, well, when are the tickets for the concert go on sale? And we have a kind of a policy in the village that we don't sell concert tickets. We have to wait until 8 weeks before the event. So we counted that, all right, we'll just, the 4th of July weekend will be over. And on the July the 5th, we'll put those tickets on sale. And I can promise you, those tickets will go fast. That concert will definitely be a sellout. So we look forward to having Gil come in and do his show.
Can you mention your contact info again, and I'll type that there in the chat.
Yeah, it's Larry Wilson. The email address is hsvlarry@gmail.com. And my phone number is 501-915-2991. And don't call me now because my phone's in silent mode.
Thank you. I'm getting that put in right now. What are you most excited for?
What am I most excited for? To get it over. Not really. I'm excited for a lot of reasons. I have yet to talk to anybody who thought this was a lousy idea and it was, we're crazy to do this. I think everybody's excited. Hot Springs Village definitely, and to a degree, Hot Springs. These are retirement communities, and as retirement communities, a lot of times you have people who are not originally from Arkansas. They come here for whatever reason. They come here for the beauty, the amenities, they come to the village to play pickleball or play golf or go swimming or go boating. They come to Hot Springs to have boating and the racetrack and all the different things that you can do around Hot Springs. And because of that, they don't have these Arkansas roots, that people who were born and raised here and lived here all their lives have. And so they need to learn a little bit about their new home. I'm originally from North Carolina. If you'd asked me 30 years ago if I would ever be living in Arkansas, I'd have laughed and I said, no way. But 27 years ago, I moved here, and I don't think you could get me out. I know my wife loves it here, and we have had we just think we're driving in from the village today. We made the comment, she said, "Is any better place to live?" Now, I got to admit, coming down 7 with all the construction going on, the look is changing, but I think with the expressway, if you've not been up Highway 7 there at the 5-7 intersection where they're going to put that big roundabout in, you can see, you see where it's coming in. It's they may say 2023, but I've heard that it's going to be ready a lot earlier than that. But I think because of that expressway, Hot Springs and Hot Springs Village are going to come closer together. I think there's going to be a lot more interaction between the village and Hot Springs, which I think is a good thing. As a teacher at Hot Springs High School, it was always, and living in the village, sometimes you'd say, "Oh, you're one of those that lives in the village," and I think that there was a time when there was kind of a negative connotation of people who lived in the village. And I think that's slowly eroding, and that's the nature of the way communities are. And I can tell you the history of that, but I'm not, because I would have to throw a couple of people under the bus, so I'm not going to do that. But I think it's important for Hot Springs and Hot Springs Village to grow closer together. We have too much to offer.
Well, excellent. Well, you and I are going to meet again before the festival next month to talk some more and highlight some more.
On our next meeting, I think you said July 16th.
Friday, July 16th.
We will type some of these. I will have confirmations on some of the things I can't confirm yet today. And once I have those confirmations, and there are 2 or 3 of them that I am really excited about. But it's a question of schedule. It's a question of, when you're dealing with high profile people, they have high profile schedules. And so, it's not as easy to, especially when you're talking, 2-3 months out. A lot of these people don't plan that far out. So anyway. But anyway, I want to thank those of you who watched and those of you who will watch the replay later. And I appreciate all the work Paul does here at the Garland County Library. You have a wonderful person working here. And what he does for adult education and for what he does for promoting the library, I think it's wonderful. And I'm proud to say that I did actually teach him at Hot Springs High School. He might not want me to admit that, but I did. He was one of my former students and one of those good kids that came through Hot Springs High School.
Well, I appreciate that very much. Thank you for the kind words. And thank you for putting this festival together and all it's going to do for our community. How about you remind them one more time where they can find information when the festival's happening?
Okay. Our website is arkansasheritage.hsvlli.org. And that's the festival website. And you can find the it's being populated right now. You'll find the list of the speakers. You'll find the registration for the event and things like that. And it's being constantly updated. As I get more information, I add more information. And I want to thank Adam Beck here at the Garland County Library, who is working, kind of helping us out as our webmaster. And so we have a good working relationship with not only Paul but with Adam, and so we're excited about that relationship, and hope it will become a long-term, lot of fun for everybody, where you find out more about what the Lifelong Learning Institute's about, and all kinds of good things. We've got some exciting things in the works there too.
Yes. Well, stay tuned, and thank you everyone for watching, and see you next month.